What if I told you that deep within the mountains of ancient Tibet, archaeologists discovered something that defies every law of nature we understand? A human being, sitting in perfect meditation pose, eyes wide open, staring into eternity. But here's what makes your blood run cold. This person had been dead for over 400 years, yet their body remained completely intact, as if they had just closed their eyes moments before. This is the story of Lama Tenzin Norbu, a Tibetan monk, who believed he could cheat death itself through the ultimate act of devotion. What he achieved in that freezing mountain cave will haunt you long after this video ends. In the year 1623, high in the Himalayas, where the air is so thin it burns your lungs, there lived a monk unlike any other Lama. Tenzin Norbu wasn't content with ordinary enlightenment. While other monks meditated for hours, he meditated for days. While they fasted for days, he fasted for weeks. But even that wasn't enough for him. You see, when Tenzin had become obsessed with an ancient text called the Codex of Eternal Flesh, a forbidden manuscript that spoke of achieving physical immortality through complete spiritual purification. The text claimed that if a monk could purify his body entirely through extreme fasting while maintaining perfect meditation, his flesh would become incorruptible, preserved forever as a bridge between the physical and spiritual worlds. Most monks dismissed this as dangerous heresy, but Tenzin was different. He had already been fasting for longer periods than any human should survive. His fellow monks watched in growing horror as his body began to change. His skin became translucent, almost glowing. His eyes took on an otherworldly quality that made people uncomfortable to look at. When he spoke, which became rarer each day, his voice seemed to echo from somewhere far away. The monastery's head Lama tried to intervene, begging Tenzin to eat, to return to normal practice. But Tenzin claimed he was receiving visions of his own body becoming a sacred vessel that would never decay, never rot, never surrender to death. He spoke of seeing himself sitting in meditation for centuries, a living statue that would inspire countless generations. What happened next still sends chills down the spines of those few who know the true story. On a bitter winter morning in February of 1624, Tenzin announced his final fast. He walked to a remote cave high above the monastery, carrying nothing but his prayer beads and a small oil lamp. He told the other monks he would emerge when his transformation was complete, or he would not emerge at all. Days passed, then weeks. The other monks brought food to the cave entrance, but it remained untouched. They could hear faint chanting from deep within, growing weaker each day, until finally, after 49 days, complete silence. When they finally entered the cave, they found something that defied explanation. Tenzin sat in perfect lotus position, his back straight, his hands positioned in meditation mudra. His eyes were open, staring ahead with an intensity that made the monks step backward. But here's what made their blood freeze. Tenzin was clearly dead, yet his body showed no signs of decay. No smell, no discoloration, nothing. He looked as if he had simply chosen to stop breathing. The monastery elders, terrified by what they witnessed, sealed the cave and swore never to speak of what had happened. They told outsiders that Tenzin had died in meditation, which was true, but they never mentioned the impossible preservation of his body. But the story doesn't end there. It gets much stranger. Local villagers began reporting strange phenomena. Around the sealed cave, travelers claimed to see a faint glow emanating from the mountainside at night. Others swore they could hear chanting during full moons, the same haunting melody Tenzin used to recite during his extreme fasts. Some even claimed to have seen his silhouette through the cave walls, still sitting in meditation. Still staring with those unblinking eyes, the monastery tried to dismiss these reports as local superstition. But privately, the monks were terrified. Some of Tenzin's former students began experiencing nightmares of their teacher calling to them from the cave, inviting them to join him in his eternal meditation. 3 monks disappeared over the following months, all last seen walking toward the sealed cave in the middle of the night. Years passed, then decades. The monastery eventually abandoned the area entirely, claiming the high altitude made it unsuitable. for spiritual practice, but the real reason was darker. They couldn't bear living so close to what they had begun calling the Watching Cave. The sealed cave became local legend, whispered about in mountain villages but never officially documented. For nearly 400 years, it remained untouched, its secrets safely buried in the remote Himalayas. Until 2018. A team of international archaeologists, searching for evidence of early Tibetan Buddhist practices, used ground radar to explore abandoned cave systems in the region. What they found in one particular cave defied every scientific principle they knew. Dr. Sarah Chen, the lead archaeologist, still refuses to discuss most details of the discovery. But leaked reports from the expedition describe finding a perfectly preserved human body in meditation posture, with no signs of mummification or artificial preservation. The body's cellular structure, according to these reports, showed impossible characteristics, as if the normal process of death and decay had simply been suspended. But here's what makes this discovery truly terrifying. When the archaeological team first entered the cave, they found the body exactly as the monks had left it centuries earlier, sitting upright, hands in meditation position. But those eyes, those wide-open eyes that had stared into nothing for 400 years, seemed to track the movement of anyone who entered the chamber. Team members reported feeling an overwhelming sense of being watched, of something ancient and patient studying them from behind those unblinking eyes. Several expedition members suffered severe nightmares during their stay near the cave, dreams of being invited to sit beside the preserved monk, to join him in his eternal vigil. Dr. Chen's expedition notes, obtained through leaked sources, describe temperature anomalies around the body, cold spots that couldn't be explained by cave conditions. They also noted that, despite the complete preservation, the body weighed significantly less than it should have, as if something essential had been drained away during that final 49-day fast. Most disturbing of all, when they used carbon dating on material found near the body, the results were inconsistent and contradictory. Some samples suggested the body had been there for exactly 400 years. Others indicated it had been placed there much more recently. A few samples returned dates that shouldn't have been possible. Dates in the future. The discovery was quietly sealed away in classified research files. The cave was once again closed, this time with modern security measures. Official reports claimed the site was unstable and dangerous for archaeological work. But those who know the truth understand the real reason. Because even now, even with all our modern science and rational thinking, we still can't explain what Lama Tenzin Norbu accomplished in that freezing cave. Did he achieve some form of immortality through his extreme devotion? Did he succeed in preserving his physical form as a bridge between worlds? Or did he create something far more sinister, a watching presence that has been sitting in patient meditation for centuries, waiting for something we can't begin to understand? The official records are sealed. The cave remains closed. But sometimes, on clear mountain nights, local guides still report seeing that familiar glow emanating from the sealed entrance. And sometimes, if you listen carefully to the wind through the peaks, you might hear the faint echo of ancient chanting, the sound of someone who chose to fast until they became something that was no longer entirely human. The question that haunts everyone who knows this story is simple yet terrifying. Is Lama Tenzin Norbu still in there? Still sitting in perfect meditation? Still staring with those unblinking eyes, waiting for his 400-year vigil to finally end? And if so, what exactly is he waiting for? The preserved monk of Tibet achieved his goal of defying death, but at what cost? His body became a statue, yes, but perhaps his soul became something else entirely, something that watches from the darkness, patient and eternal, serving as a chilling reminder that some prices for immortality are too terrible to pay. Next time you think about the lengths people will go to in pursuit of their deepest beliefs, remember the monk who fasted until he became a statue. And ask yourself, in our desperate quest to transcend human limitations, what monsters might we create along the way?